What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a legendary day. If you live in the Bay, you're definitely not having a legendary day because it's pouring like cats and dogs out there. We got Jason waiting in the green room. We're going to go ahead and give a pre-draft look at the defense today. Go ahead and get into some, of course, Niner news. And I got a couple interesting topics that I think will kill some time and get us thinking to the future of this team. But before we get started with that, we're going to, of course, remind everybody to help out Niner Faithful Radio by shopping and using our affiliate link at shop49ers.com. The link will be in the description of the podcast or video. Go to cgiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media. Jason does a bang-up job on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. And of course, to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. And as always, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the show for a special 10% coupon code from For the Faithful, by the Faithful, Season 3 apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, get the show cracking.
Rice has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana. Touchdown, John Taylor.
What's up? Thanks for the like, Wayne. I see you, baby. What's up, Jason? How you doing, bro?
Hola, bichos. What's doing, brother?
You know, any day you wake up a 5-time champion is a legendary day, as they say. But
is it really raining that bad down there?
Oh yeah, it's raining cats and dogs over here, bro. Like, it's actually pretty bad.
Damn.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the last storm for a while. Luckily, not.
Y'all getting that Seattle weather. It's not here right now.
I'm telling you, bro. Ever since you fucking came here, cuz. Ever since you fucking came here.
Since I came to that damn game, it has done nothing but rain down there.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, the fuck. Anyway. No, it's luckily, knock on wood, we haven't lost power, and there wasn't anything too dramatic. I'm pretty sure there'll be some lights out and some shit that we'll have to deal with at 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. But as me and Bubby say, that's future daddy and Bubby's problem. So real quick, the Niners have signed. Let me see. I actually should have done this. Okay, let's get into the conversation you and I talked about a little bit yesterday before we get into the housekeeping. I think it's pretty obvious this football team's starting to get expensive. John Lynch spoke yesterday. Kyle Shanahan spoke today, and I know Jed York had an interview with the media. The Kyle and the John one is on the Niners YouTube. It's as last time I checked, the Jed York one isn't on the Niners YouTube. It might be released on the Niners YouTube, but I know that Lombardi has it on his. That's how I watched it. So
all of them are on Lombardi's only for right now.
Yeah. I know all of them are on Lombardi's. I know the Kyle and the John one are on the Niners as well. But basically, go to Dave Lombardi. I mean, I actually really enjoy his content he puts out. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It wasn't like it was back in the day where I would listen to over 100 podcasts and interviews and shit like that over the week. I'm not quite that dedicated anymore. I just simply don't have the time with working pretty much almost full time and having a fiance I have to take care of and a business to run. I just simply don't have all the time to dedicate to. But Dave Lombardi is definitely somebody that I subscribe to, and when he posts a video, I definitely like to watch.
Looks like so far it's just Kyle's.
Okay, so it looks like it's just Kyle's. Then I spoke too soon, but not too much from Jed York's. We'll get to that later. This team's starting to get expensive, and Jed York, just a clip from his interview. He talked about how the Niners are never going to be big spenders in free agency. That's just not what we're going to do. Now
No,
you
they
can
play
argue
through
whether
building for the draft.
you could talk to whether that means that they're cheap and all that type of stuff. And okay, well, look at what that's gotten you. Where we all know the famous planes that flew over Levi's in 2016. The one I personally saw when I was at the Jets game said, "Here's our banner, Jed. Where's yours?" That was kind of always my favorite one, you know. But you could argue about that, but I think that's a smart way to build your football team. But this football team is getting expensive. With that being said, the Niners didn't say they're not trading Brandon Ayuk. I don't think that they will. I personally spoke about this yesterday. I think it's stupid. You thought it was stupid. We both said that if you have to keep one or the other, you keep Brandon Ayuk over Debo. Brandon Ayuk's game is just more sustainable. The part I wanted to get into is, do you believe Debo's value is higher now or after the season?
After this upcoming season?
Yeah, after this upcoming season.
Oh, it has to be now.
You really believe that?
It has to be now. Wear and tear and everything like that. You don't know what else it would come. I mean, unless somebody gets desperate and loses like both the number one and number two wide receiver type thing, his value to me is higher now. Unless you want to factor in something like like a playoff run. Say the Packers want somebody, we're out of the playoffs for whatever reason. They're making a push with Jordan Love or whoever the quarterback is there. And they're like, okay, we need that one person to get us over the edge, a.k.a. a Christian McCaffrey, Emmanuel,
yes.
All those kind of Emmanuel Sanders type trades that we've made try and make that push. Then maybe that the value for Debo goes up. But I see right now, I think it's about as high as it gets. And I think it's actually come down a little bit from what it was last season. Last season when there was all the rumors of, he doesn't want to be here and all that kind of stuff. Coming off that amazing season where he pretty much carried us into the NFC Championship game. It's down a little bit from then.
I mean, see, that's my thing about it is that, do I believe Debo has the ability to have a monster season this year? I do.
Oh, yeah.
Do I think that Christian McCaffrey makes Debo a little redundant? A little bit. I think I want to preface this by saying I do not want to trade Debo Samuel this year.
Oh, no.
I think that his highest value to the Niners, first of all, I think that I would bet that Debo would have a type of year that would make his stock stay the same or even more valuable. But then, of course, you got to get into the fact that people know we got to pay Brandon and Ayuk after next offseason, and they know that we can't keep both of them. And Debo's cap hit is pretty steep next year.
I think I saw.
I want to get that out of the way.
It's like $43 million for both of them next season if they both stay on the team.
I know that Debo is 28 and it's 26 if you cut him. So they're not going to. I mean, you wouldn't cut Debo anyway. So I think his highest value to the Niners this year is not going to be a 1 and a 3 or a 1 and a 2 or whatever the hell you could get for him. The greatest value of him on the Niners this year is on the football team, especially when you look at the quarterback situation, which of course we'll get into before we get into our defensive preview. But yeah, I ultimately think that a Debo Samuel trade is on the table, and I only bring this up right now because I've explained to it on the show. I was a wreck when Debo got hurt last year. I was literally on the floor crying. I thought our season was done. That's how much Debo means to this football team. I love Debo's mentality. On a team that our calling card as a football team, offensively and defensively and special teams, is physicality. To me, it's no coincidence that the two players that walk out the tunnel, first out the tunnel, every single game, road or home, playoffs, preseason, whatever it is, the two players that walk out of the locker room are Debo and Trent Williams, who I would dare say are probably our two most physical players on our football team. I don't think I think that sets our mentality, that gets the crowd into it, that shows the other team. Fred Warner said that he makes a point that before every game, he locks eyes with the quarterback on the other team during the national anthem. He locks eyes with them. And if he looks away, he knows that he got him. He's like, I know I have him that day. That type of mentality, yeah, Fred Warner is a huge part of it. George Kittle is a huge part of it. But I think it starts with Debo and Trent Williams. And that's why, I think a trade of Debo has to get an approval from Jet. Because you're not trading a player, a productive player. You're trading a piece of your culture. If you're talking about trading Debo Samuel, if you're talking about letting go of George Kittle. Hell, even if you're talking about getting rid of Eric Armstead. How much he means to that locker room, how much community work he does. The fact that, he's now the longest tenured player on the team. They can talk about, hey, go to some of these players who, let's be real, Debo hasn't been around a lot of losing.
True.
Brandon Ayuk ain't been around a lot of losing. Nick Bosa ain't been around a lot of losing. A lot of these players haven't been around a lot of losing in their careers. Even Fred Warner. It was the second year when we went to the Super Bowl. So a lot of these players haven't been through the 2015, 2016, 2017 seasons. Like Eric Armstead, that, hey, it had always been like this. And I think that is an important part of our culture. Moving on. So we signed offensive lineman Matt Pryor, originally drafted by the Eagles in the 6th round in 2018. Throughout his 5-year NFL career, he's played with the Colts and the Eagles, appeared in 60 regular season games with 24 starts, and started 1 postseason contest.
Camp body.
Yeah, I would think camp body, maybe depth.
Back end depth at the most we have 2 people go down before he even comes to the field, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Remind me next week. I actually want to get into your moving Burford over to tackle. And I'm actually starting to warm, but we'll get into that when we speak offensively. That should be it. Everybody's freaking out. Brock Purdy. Oh, Brock Purdy's the starter. I mean, any of y'all watch the games? I think it's pretty obvious. Anybody who watched from the Dolphins game on last year could kind of think that Brock Purdy was the quarterback who played the best of the Niners last year. Now, I know that you wanted to just kick Jason off the stream.
If you want me to go, just say it so, man.
Yeah, right? For real.
Yeah, just off playoff alone,
yeah,
he's got to be the starter. And that's not anything with, knocking Trey or whatever Sam Darnold's going to bring, which probably won't be a whole lot for face value for right now, but just going for what he brought and how he played, yeah, he's going to be the starter for right now. I don't know why people are freaking out. But Trey's going to be given the opportunity to prove that, he's going to be worthy of taking the mantle of the number 1 starter of this team going forward. He's going to be
Kyle was asked, hey, what does Trey got to do to essentially reclaim his job as the starter? And Kyle said, go out there, be healthy, and just take some freaking reps. Get on the field, and obviously, take a step forward, a step or 2 forward. I mean, let's be real, probably 3 or 4 steps forward. But, I agree with this. Now, what do you take? We haven't had an opportunity to talk about this since this came out today. What are you taking about him splitting reps with Sam Darnold?
That, to me, is the most interesting thing. That I'm not going to say that takes away confidence in Trey. I think they want to see what they have in Sam Darnold. Two number 3 overall picks. Were the teams around him just that bad? Or is there something worth saving there to where, say, for instance, Brock is gone for longer than what was anticipated? Or, if Trey goes down, they have to see what Sam Darnold has in him when you're surrounded with the talent that is on this team on the offensive side of the ball. So it's kind of surprising, especially if he goes 50-50. I could see if they were going to do maybe a 75-25, get him up to speed and all that. But I'm more interested to see what exactly the split is between the 2 of them.
And I'm really talk to me at camp.
Yeah,
Talk
that
to me
too.
at camp. Yeah. Talk to me in camp.
There's
My
a lot
whole
of
thing
smoke right
about
now.
this is I think what they said fires me up and excites me if you're a Niner fan. Because what is that? What did I get away from Kyle? The comments specifically about the quarterback is, hey, look, we all know last year. I'm not going to say we would have won it or whatever. I was fairly confident we were going to the Super Bowl last year. I mean, let's be real. We were the hottest team in the NFL. And I know at the start of the playoffs, they said, hey, look, 14-game winning streak or 17-game winning streak or whatever it was, is a lot to go on. And that's what we're going to have to go on to win a Super Bowl. But I know we were a better football team than that score dictated at that NFC Championship game. I know that it was not going to be like that. We were not going to.
Look what Hargraves said. Look what Javon Hargraves said. He's like, we were in it for a fight until Brock went down.
Yeah.
He admitted that's how the whole
Eagles
mentality was.
had to respect us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they thought, oh, what are we going to do? But they had to respect us as a valid opponent. You had to. And they knew they were going to be in for a fight. So I think that what excites me is Kyle's like, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm not going to rely on Mr. Irrelevant and having fluke things in NFL history happen. And because let's be real, we're never going to see something like Brock Purdy happen ever again. Even if this 8-game career is his best stretch of his career, we will never see that from a Mr. Irrelevant again, because you'll probably never have a Mr. Irrelevant who has the ability to play for a team as loaded as the Niners again. So even if that's it, Kyle's saying, I'm not going to, we're so close to the Super Bowl. Kyle's going to say, I'm not going to allow my quarterback getting hurt and having to be in the Wildcat. And Kyle's just not letting that happen. And you have to. No matter,
you don't want your running back taking snaps again.
Yeah, exactly. Juice or Christian McCaffrey will never play quarterback again for the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle's not going to allow that to happen. Now, ultimately, I don't think that's a knock on Trey. I don't think that's a knock on Brock. I don't even think that's necessarily a vote of confidence in Sam Darnold. I think that just says, look, with Brock, we love what we saw for 8 games. 8 games don't make a career. We ourselves admitted, as Niner fans, you cannot assume that a quarterback's going to be back from an injury the same he was before, because we just seen it with Jimmy. Jimmy was clearly not the same quarterback when he came back from the ACL that he was in 2017.
Yep.
It was clear. I'm not saying his career was done, but he was clearly not the same quarterback. We can't just assume that Brock's going to come back throwing darts, week 1. Hell, I do not expect Brock. I'm going to come on record and saying it. As of right now, until I hear different, I don't expect Brock Purdy to be ready for week 1. Because Kyle himself even said, look, this ain't like he's getting cleared on Thursday before the season has started. Like, I need to see him in practice. I need to see where he's at. I need to say if he's even the best quarterback right now.
Look, once we resurrect Mr. Miyagi from the dead and he starts doing on there, I don't see him being ready for week 1. I don't know why everybody's forcing it. It's just like
they're saying.
Even look at Nick Mullins. Yeah, look at Nick Mullins. It took him almost a year to get back to where he was, kind of a thing. So who knows? Like I said, I agree with you. I don't expect him to be ready come week 1. I'm thinking at the most, you're looking at week 4 to 6 probably.
Yeah. I would say he's probably starting the year. What's the one for 4 weeks? The one that's 4 weeks. I think he's going to be on that list.
Yeah, and then they'll make a decision after that whether he goes on for another 4. Yeah,
or put him on IR or whatever the situation is after that. And that's fine because Trey could come out and take the job. I'm excited for Trey. Because guess what, Trey? This is the NFL. What have you done for me lately?
Dog, man.
Big boy. And welcome to the NFL. And I want Trey. I want I want to buy a Trey Lance jersey. Now, I've explained many times on the show my qualifications for winning a Trey Lance jersey. Probably the most realistic qualification I have for buying somebody a jersey is probably him winning a fucking championship. Because he ain't gonna be a Hall of Famer. I mean, we don't know that, but
you don't
we
necessarily
don't know
know.
that. But the most likely thing to happen first, where I'm buying a Trey Lance jersey, is him winning a championship.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than in this closet right here for there to be sitting a big, fat, red number 5 jersey than A. Jeff Garcia.
I'd buy one that, where if he like trucked somebody in like a game or something and just like, took out some D line, I'd be all right, cool. That's worthy of buying one.
I mean, sure. Like I mean, okay. So to reiterate, it's being a 10-year Niner, making or somebody that's really deeply correct. Like, would I get a Jimmy Ward one, even though he wasn't a 10-year? No, actually, I wouldn't get a Jimmy Ward jersey. But would I get a Navarro Bowman jersey? And would I get a Navarro Bowman jersey? Yes. I think Navarro Bowman is a worthy candidate. Patrick, I don't think Patrick Willis made the 10-year. Yeah, Patrick Willis didn't make it. I've bought a Patrick Willis jersey before.
Patrick Willis get by him.
The 10-year Niner, make a big play in Niner history, or a no Niner, or Super Bowl champion, or come on the show, are the 5 ways I get jerseys. So the most realistic on that type of list is him winning a Super Bowl. So I would love nothing more than getting a Trey Lance jersey. But I'm fired up for Trey Lance because it's, hey, Trey, go improve it. And you know what? Everything we've heard about Trey is he's a hard worker, loves competition, has no problem fighting for his life, all those type of things. He's been a fighter his whole life. Love it. It's going to bring the best out of Trey Lance. I'm excited for Sam Darnold because it's possible we found our starter. Look, the Jets were really that bad. Carolina was really that bad. And guess what? They didn't have Debo and George Kittle and Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey. And so I'm excited for Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold could be the answer. I mean, he's a number 3 overall pick. And ain't like he wasn't a high pick and doesn't have some type of talent.
Darnold looked better after McCaffrey in the last couple of games that he started, and he's probably did his entire career when it was Steve Wilkes.
Let's be real. The Niners pretty much signed. They obviously liked him, but Sam Darnold got the interest that he got this year in the free agency because of the last 6 games he played in Carolina.
Yeah,
that's why he got all that interest. Not necessarily for the Niners because the Niners did really like him before. And let's be real, there was rumors that we were going to trade for him in 2021.
I'm still surprised we didn't trade for him.
Yeah. How much was Carolina asking for? New York. And I'm excited for Brock Purdy because, it's going to teach him. The NFL, look, you Wally Pip somebody, you could turn around and get Wally Pipped. I mean, I don't know what you call that, but, it's going to be an exciting offseason. I mean, we say that every year. There's never a dull moment covering this football team. And, man, if anything, the Niners know how to keep themselves in the news.
Season 5 of quarterback controversy during the offseason or whatever it is at this point.
Jason, I want to ask you something. We didn't plan this. This is strictly off the cup. Do you think just under the Kyle Shanahan era, do we have to redefine what franchise quarterback means? Because they talked about, it's very clear. Jed York talked about it, John Lynch talked about it, and Kyle Shanahan talked about it. They specifically went out. They said, hey, look, we're going to have the Debos. We're going to have the Brandon Ayuk. We're going to have these players coming up for contracts. Let's go out. Let's get a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal that's going to allow us to build the best football team. And you know what? To me, that almost seems sustainable. Like, obviously, if he goes out and he's clearly any quarterback we have on the roster, head and shoulders, proves he's an elite quarterback, of course you sign him and you don't think twice. But would you rather have a situation where you have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, whoever it is, where, hey, if they go down for the season, you're fucked. Like, your season's over. Like, during his career, Aaron Rodgers went down, the Packers had no chance. It was known. Aaron Rodgers misses significant time, the Packers season's done. Or would you rather be in a position like we were last year, where we went through 4 quarterbacks, really 5? Because if we had the ability to play a third quarterback in the NFC Championship game, we would have. We just simply ran out of quarterbacks. I'd rather be in the position where I had the best team with the competent quarterback than a superstar quarterback that's throwing to garbage players.
I'll still take the super quarterback.
Yeah, you'd still take the quarterback?
I would. There is one position in all of sports where literally that one position makes up for everything. You put Patrick Mahomes on pretty much any team, Super Bowl, damn near Super Bowl. Josh Allen, you can almost say the exact same thing. Put him on any team, Super Bowl contender. You can't necessarily put Debo on a different team and they become a Super Bowl contender.
I'm trading. If the Chiefs call John Lynch right now and offer Patrick Mahomes, I'm trading him whatever they want. You want Nick Bosa? Buy. And you know how I feel about trading Nick Bosa. I don't believe you. Nick Bosa is a Hall of Fame potential first ballot Hall of Fame player. You don't trade Nick Bosa. The Chiefs are stupid enough. I would trade Nick Bosa and 2 ones. Like, I mean, I don't care. Like,
for Patrick Mahomes right now,
Mahomes. I'm very clear on that. Okay, very clear. But besides Patrick Mahomes, I don't even think I would do it for Josh Allen. Honestly,
I don't think I'd give up as much for Josh Allen, but I would give up.
I would do picks. I would throw in Debo and some picks or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Josh Allen's that tier. But you're talking about the only player that I'm including Nick Bosa in the package for is Patrick Mahomes.
But I also still think that stops at a certain level, like past maybe 3 to 5, depending on who you have in those slots. Maybe not. Would you trade for a Justin Herbert?
No.
See, I wouldn't either.
I mean, I would trade picks.
Yeah,
but if you're talking about trading a Debo and Nick Bosa, no.
Here's a real one. Would you make those picks for Lamar Jackson right now? Two ones. That's all it would take. Right
2
now. 2 ones to get Lamar Jackson on this team right now is what it would take. You have to sign him to whatever absurd amount of money he wants.
And
so
that's
you
why
are going to take on. Yeah, but you do get Lamar Jackson, and it only costs you 2 ones, which is less than what we're giving up for Trey Lance right now.
Look, if you're talking about a 1 year, if you're talking about 1 year, just 1 year, let's just say, hey, we'll sign you to the franchise tag 1 year. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing it for now. I understand why they wouldn't. And Kyle, look, we're going to just get this out. Kyle said straight up, we like our 3 quarterbacks. And ultimately, let's be real. Like, Kyle Shanahan does not like Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, or Sam Darnold more than Lamar Jackson. It's not about Lamar. It's not about Lamar. It's not about him liking the quarterbacks. What it's really like is, look, we've just explained the construction of our team is about not paying the quarterback and playing Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, etc., Fred Warner, etc. It's not going to happen because they're not going to pay Lamar, and they're not going to trade two ones for a rental player. But I would definitely. If you told me just straight up 2 ones right now, excluding the money, excluding,
but you got to take the money.
2 years, which you got to do the money. But let's just say he had 2 more years on his deal, this year and next year, on his rookie deal. Man, I'm trading 2 ones and a 2 ones and a third. I'll throw the third for a sweet.
You got to add in that money because that's
that's what I'm saying. That's why it's not going to happen.
Yeah, because you got to take on probably what.
200
mil guaranteed.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson is going to be a $40-50 million.
At what? Probably 6-7 years minimum.
Shit, we all know Parag is a contract wizard.
Yeah,
I don't think Parag can wizard his shit around that.
There's too much finagling he'd have to do. Which
I don't even think it's possible.
It's too big.
You would have to say goodbye to too much. Where it's like, cool, we've significantly upgraded the quarterback position, but you've took so many hits to the team that the overall team would be weaker. And then what happens when Lamar misses? What did he miss last year? 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, we're still stuck.
Then what do you do? Versus now, if our quarterback, I am confident after seeing what I've seen from Trey Lance and Sam Darnold, or Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. I can't say that for Sam Darnold because I haven't seen him play, but I'm confident that if Brock's the number one and Trey goes down, and he goes down and Trey has to come in, I'm confident that this team is strong enough that we could hold it down for a game, 2 games, 3 games, especially if it's in the right time of the schedule.
Which is built.
I'm not confident
contract.
that when you trade for Lamar Jackson and the deductions you're going to have to take from your roster because of the financial, implications, Lamar Jackson goes down. I am not confident in that football team to win games without Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And Lamar's been hurt too much. Love Lamar Jackson, but you know what? No, I went through the injury quarterback. I've lost the season because of a quarterback injury in 2018. I ain't trying to. Now, mind you, it got us Nick Bosa, but I ain't trying to do that again because I don't think there's a Nick Bosa floating around. All right, Jason, why don't you pull up the defensive preview?
I want to see something real quick. I want to see who's lists more games, him or Jimmy G.
I'm actually, that actually be interesting. Take away 2018 and see. Because I bet you with 2018, I bet you Jimmy's missed more, but Jimmy missed, what was it, 12 games?
Let's see. So in the last, let's see. Who's missed more games? I'm trying to find something that just says it straight up online, and I cannot find anything. Let's see this.
Lamar.
G.
Jimmy Garoppolo. I got it right here, so we'll pull up.
You got it?
Pull up. Yeah, I'm just pulling up ESPN right now. Okay, so Lamar came in career games. Here we go. Oh, that's the last games. Damn it. Stats. Here we go. Okay. So he's been in 2018. He played 16 games. So you take away 2018. He played 15 and 19, 15 and 20, 12 and 21, and 12 and 22. So he missed 4, 4, 1, and 1. Jimmy missed so he missed 13 in 2018. So Lamar missed one game in 20 more than 19. Lamar played more games in 20. He played 9 more games in 20. In 21, Jimmy played more games, and in 22, Jimmy played 1 less game. But that's simply just because Jimmy wasn't the starter.
Yeah.
So basically, over the last 2 years, Lamar Jackson's essentially missed more time than Jimmy Garoppolo.
I was curious about that one.
Yeah, so there you go. Anybody who wants now, obviously, you have to counter that by saying that you're willing to take more of that because you're obviously getting a higher level quarterback, But if you're bitching about how injury prone Jimmy G is, which, let's be real, the only major problem he's had was in 2018 with his knee. And let's be real, we were probably competing for a playoff spot, but we weren't winning a championship that year. So since in our championship window, Lamar's missed more time than Jimmy. So keep that in mind. Also, to wrap that up before we get in the defensive play preview, we have signed Zane Gonzalez. Does that say bye-bye to Robbie Gould, Jason?
I don't know, because we could still – I saw something about him getting cut. It's not that much, but –
it's no guaranteed. There's no guaranteed money in the contract.
I do think that at the very least, we're headed towards a kicking competition, in camp, depending on what Robbie Gould decides to do. Which I would love to see. I would love to see a kicking competition with Robbie Gould.
Ultimately, I think ultimately, I think this says goodbye to Mooney or any kicker that we were
Not
talking
necessarily.
about.
Not necessarily. We could still.
See,
We
I
could
think
still
that
draft him.
because if you draft Mooney in the 3rd or 4th round, are you cutting him? If Zane Gonzalez beats him out, are you cutting him?
Cutting
Are you
Zane.
just cutting our 3rd? No, I'm saying if Zane beats out Mooney, let's say we draft Mooney 4th round. Zane Gonzalez is the best, clearly the better kicker. I don't think he would be,
He wouldn't be. I
But-
mean, I just don't.
but let's just say he was. So then are you cutting
I'm still
your
cutting
3rd
him.
or 4th round draft pick?
No,
Or are you just keeping 2 kickers on the roster?
no, cutting Zane. If it came
I'm
down
cut-
to those two, but I mean, I think we would cut him before it came to that, though.
I really honestly think what it's going to come down to is I think that the day we sign Robbie Gould, it's thanks Zane for your services, you
Yeah.
know. Or also I think this is pointing towards a late round type or free agent type of kicker and just have a battle out in camp, which for the future of the Niners is probably the best thing to do. For the 2023 season, no, signing Robbie Gould is clearly the best option the Niners have.
Agreed.
For the 2024 and beyond season, yeah, trading for Zane Gonzalez and drafting or signing an undrafted free agent kicker and letting them battle it out in camp is the best thing for the future of the Niners. You know, but we shall see. That just got kicking just got a little bit more interesting in San Francisco. All right, go ahead and pull it up.
All right, let's pull this up. The starting, at least the starting 11 that we have, or excuse me, 10.
Yeah.
We are for the most part pretty sure about right now.
Okay, Drake Jackson. I'm looking for big things to him. Does the D line hang on the ability of Drake Jackson? When
No.
the D line's going to be monster, but I think to be elite 2019, we're winning a championship because of our D line. I think we need an uptick from Drake Jackson. I think we have a fine D line. Drake Jackson gets 0 sacks this year. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be one of the best D lines in the NFL. But to be a game-changing 2019 status D line, yeah, Drake Jackson needs to step up this year. Thoughts on Drake Jackson?
I kind of disagree in the fact with sacks. While I would love to see him get like between 7 to 10 sacks.
Yeah.
If he's in there just cleaning up everything because people are, are you going to double Hargrave? Are you going to double Bosa?
Armstead?
Yeah, Armstead. I mean, and if that just means that he's in there, cleaning up everything from those guys, disrupting everything. I'm okay with it.
That's all I need from him. If he could
Yeah.
just do that, or if he can simply just apply the pressure that makes a quarterback step up into Hargrave, Armstead, slide over to Bosa, whatever, that's all I need from you, Drake. If you can give me that consistently all season, the Niners will have the best. And we might set the franchise record for sacks. I don't know what that is. I'll go ahead and look that up for future shows. But if Drake Jackson can simply do what you just said, I think the Niners might break the at least the franchise sack season total. Eric Armstead, to me, besides Drake Jackson, he's the biggest piece. We talked ad nauseum about the lack of pressures and everything from our D line last year. I don't think one of the things that's not talked about the most with the struggles of the D line last year is how many games Eric Armstead missed. Because when Eric Armstead was on the field last year, he was a beast. The problem was he simply just wasn't on the field. And then you compound that by the fact of essentially getting nothing from Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah.
And you compact those two in the things and you get the 2022 San Francisco D tackle position.
And you have one of, if not arguably, the best interior linemen in the league coming over in Hargraves now. It's an insane upgrade. I don't think people quite realize how good he was in the middle last year.
If we win a championship this year, I think Javon Hargrave might be talked about. If we win multiple championships, Javon Hargrave is talked about as one of the biggest free agent signings in team history.
Yeah, probably right up there with like Charles Haley type thing.
Charles Haley was drafted. Probably the one that would be the closest to, if it was just one, which I think he'll even have more of an impact than this player because he'll be on the team longer, is Dion. Dion's probably the type of impact that Javon Hargrave can have on the Niners is a Deion Sanders type impact, but I think it will be even bigger just because Dion ultimately was on the team for only 1 year. Javon will ultimately be on the team for at least 2.
Yeah, 2 to 3.
So
I don't think we go all 4.
I don't think he'll get all 4 either, but that's fine. I'll take Javon Hargrave for 3 years. I think he has the ability to be next one, Mr. Deploy. We used to chant that for Defo. Now, honestly, I wonder how many deploy chants I'm going to start at Levi's this year when Nick Bosa gets a stack. Because ultimately, Nick Bosa's had more sacks every year of his NFL career, except the second one, which obviously because of injury. Does Nick Bosa take a step back this year in the sense that not getting 18 sacks? Does he have 14? Does he have 12? But clearly making his but the stats, I think Nick Bosa this year, the stats might take a step back. You're not just going to get 18. Eventually, he's going to have a career year in sack totals, and 18 might very well be that. And I don't think that's a bad career high to have.
No,
but the impact of Nick Bosa, I think, will be even bigger this year because of Mr. Javon Hargrave. Everybody talks about how Hargrave will make Bosa eat. I think it might be a little bit of the reverse. I think Bosa might make Hargrave eat.
Oh, there's going to be enough for everybody to eat on this defensive line.
Oh,
everybody. There's going to be a lot of food
big
to eat.
Boys.
Yeah. Everybody's going to eat because I think the way they're going to go is just going to bounce off each other. These two are going to have an off game because they're not going to have any stats. So, the other two are going to have all the stats. But when you actually look at it, it's those two with no quote-unquote stats who are just blowing up everything and pushing them into the other two. That's how I think it is.
I see Nick Bosa making a lot more plays like the game-sealing play against the Raiders. Yeah. Where he didn't get a sack or anything like that, but Nick Bosa clearly was the reason that pick happened. Yeah. I see tons and tons of plays like that from Nick Bosa this year.
More blown-up plays in general.
Yeah. Dre Greenlaw, this is the thing about Dre Greenlaw is I love him when he's on the field. I think the third linebacker who we're going to get here in the next segment, we'll get to all that. I think the third linebacker might be more important than we realize because we've had the ability. We've never missed Dre Greenlaw being on the field just simply because we've had Aziz. And as Aziz has been able to step in and there's really been not that much of a drop-off, if any. This year, there might be a little bit of a drop-off. I'm really curious about that type of Dre Greenlaw to his backup / nickel linebacker or base down linebacker relationship this year. Because going from Aziz to Dre Greenlaw was very simple. You lost very little. Although I'm very high on Marcel Ball, I'm very high on Demetrius Flannigan-Falls. I don't think they're Aziz status.
In multiple games, though. That's the question.
Yeah. That's what we need. We need this from, not only do we need it for 17, because let's be real, the third linebacker is going to play some snaps. We might not need it even more because how many games is Dre going to miss next year with his elbow, with his hamstring, with his groin?
Fred's missing games too.
He's missed one. So
I mean, so someone's going to, slide Dre over there into that middle. So we'll see how,
So now, of course, what is to say about Bam Bam? Bam Bam just does Bam Bam things. He's going to be the best linebacker in football. He might not get the stats and the picks and everything like that. But if you talk to offensive coaches that have to game plan against the Niners defense, besides Nick Bosa and maybe Javon Hargrave now, the player they tell you that you got to watch out the most for, besides number 97, is number 54. I promise you that. I promise you that
everything's so good. Like
He just does everything at an
he
elite
covers.
level.
He can cover number one wide receivers as a middle linebacker. That's just.
That's unheard of.
Could you imagine like someone like Mike Singletary covering a
No.
number one wide receiver back in the day?
The only linebacker that I would even trust, and I wouldn't even have him do that, is Bowen Will. You know, those are the two. I wouldn't have him do it a ton, but if it just happened, like, hey, they caught us in a bad coverage type of thing, I think you would survive a play or two. But to line up and say, hey, I'm counting on, Patrick Willis and or Navarro Bowman to cover this number one receiver as much as Bam Bam does. No, you're not even having Patrick Wilson and Navarro Bowman do that.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the two greatest linebackers in team history, probably. We'll get to the missing player here in a second. To the secondary, who I think is most intriguing position. You have Charvarius Ward. I think that he proved not a shutdown corner, but a number one corner. I think that the Niners are confident charting out Charvarius Ward in a Super Bowl, lining up against a team's
I'd put him at a minimum top 5 to 6 corner in the NFL. So he's well worth the money we spent to go out and get him.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way: any cornerback that's available, any quarterback that is better than Charvarius Ward was not going to be available in free agency last year.
No.
So, I mean, he was basically the best available corner. Tashaun Gibson, number 2 safety in passer rating allowed last year, made Jimmy Ward expendable. Let's be real. He made Jimmy Ward expendable.
Yeah, I still can't believe how much we're thinking. I remember the signing. We were both like, camp body, decent backup.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. I did not pay. I paid zero attention to.
Yeah, I think
my mistake. Where would we be last year without Tashaun Gibson? Because I think is Jimmy Ward a better safety than Tashaun Gibson? Yes. Not even question. But what I think is important about Tashaun Gibson is he allows Huff to be Huff.
Yep.
So the safety tandem, I think, becomes better because you allow Huff to do what Huff does best, which is flying to the football. And
but
just
to be the more instinctual of the two. Let him play off his instincts to where when he does make a mistake, Tashaun is good enough to where if he's going to stay at home and play where he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. So veteran presence, steady.
Yep. If he misses something, bam, he's got his back just like that. It worked out perfectly.
Okay, so Huff is an intriguing player to me because it was clearly that he had that rough stretch in the middle of the season, because he started last year out of a rocket. I mean, it was like, did the Niners have a star? Wasn't the Niners find a replacement?
5 games, the Niners have defensive player of the year.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, do the Niners have a star safety? Did we just find the next Ronnie Lott? Like, it was that type of, and it cooled down a lot towards. Now he played fine in the playoffs, so I think that was maybe some coaching techniques, maybe a little bit of teams exposing him, a little bit of that. So to me, this is what I'm specifically excited to see Huff this year because I still do think the Niners, have we found the next Ronnie Lott? No. But I think the Niners can find a solid Pro Bowl safety. I think this year we'll determine that. So I'm definitely excited to Huff. Now to the player, let's be real. The player I'm most excited about as far as potential this year is Deommodore Lenoir. I think Deommodore Lenoir is the linchpin of the defense in the sense that he could play slot, he could play corner, he could play a hybrid linebacker role. I mean, Deommodore Lenoir might be not at the level, but might be the next Jimmy Ward as far as the utility piece in the secondary. You can play him at maybe, I wouldn't want him at safety, but a hybrid nickel. I would definitely play him at a hybrid linebacker safety role. kind of like we
I
did
would
with
try.
Eric Reed.
I'd be okay with him at safety, like if somebody got hurt,
Sure,
kind of a
sure.
thing. He had to slide over for a game or two. I'd be okay with it.
Not ideal, but I'm really excited about Demo because his career has been this. Let's be real. It's been, he started out his career fine, then he was replaced by Ambry Thomas, then started to rise a little bit. And I'm mostly excited about Deommodore because he proved a lot to me. You and I asked you the preview show before the playoffs. I said, Jason, if the Niners don't win the Super Bowl, what's the player that's most likely going to be the reason? We both said Deommodore Lenoir. Deommodore Lenoir was one of the reasons the Niners were playing in the NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. He was playing in the playoffs. He played better than Charvarius Ward. And John Lynch came out and said he believes that Deommodore Lenoir turned a corner. And I think that John Lynch, Hall of Fame player, might get hyped up a little too much. But the one thing I trust John Lynch to speak about is definitely secondary play. And so when John Lynch speaks about a secondary player, my ears perk up. My antennae definitely start going like this, and starting to pick up signals. So Deommodore Lenoir is
I like how pretty much every coach on the defensive side and Kyle Shanahan pretty much has challenged him. And for the most part, he has stepped up to bat and been pretty damn good with it. So it's almost like he's the kind of person to where if he's not challenged, what is he? Like maybe last year he didn't feel challenged because of how good Ambry Thomas was playing down the stretch, or for whatever reason. I could be talking on my ass on this, but considering that they all saw it in him, and they all went up to him and like, hey, we need you to step up. He took it to heart, and he had a damn good year. And I know you're talking about his versatility. I think he has now earned the right to just stick at that corner spot to where he doesn't have to move over and be so versatile anymore. Okay. Even though he could be. But I could definitely see him staying out on the end now.
I believe the best cornerback tandem that we could put out there is Demo and Charvarius Ward. I do believe that's the best combination. I'm super fired up for Demo. The thing I love about, because let's be real, I think the things that separate corners is mentality. Because let's be real, corners, you can have the measurables. Let's be real. On paper, we shouldn't even be facing this situation because Ahkello Witherspoon should be our starting quarterback. Because on paper, he had all the measurables. He had the height, the arm length, the everything. To me, what was Ahkello's biggest problem? Mentality.
He was a poor man's Jalen Ramsey, where he was good, but if you got into his head, he fell apart.
Yep, just not quite the upside. Perfect call, Jason. I like that. Demo's a dog. Demo
wants you to talk to him. He wants it all.
Oh, yeah. Demo wants the smoke. Demo wants all that smoke. And also, I always look for the why. One of the things that really impressed me about Brian Griese during his first press conference as Niner quarterback coach is he said in the first meeting, he got Trey, he got Brock, and he got Nate Sudfeld. And he said, first thing we talked about before we got in the scheme, anything, we talked about why. Why are we here at the San Francisco 49ers? What is our reason we want to play football? And I think that speaks so high. Obviously, talent and all those things matter. But why are you doing this? Are you doing this for money? Are you doing this for the love of the game? And one of the things Demo talked about in his rookie press conference, his first press conference, was the fact that his brother was a diehard Niner fan. And his brother was killed. For those who don't know, Demo grew up in South Central LA. Basically, any type of gang activity you think about in LA mostly happens in South Central. So whatever dangerous, crazy things you think about in LA, most likely happening where Demo's from. More chances than not. So that right there, Why is Demo doing this? Because I want to play for my brother, and I know my brother would not only want me to succeed because I'm his little brother, but also he would want me to succeed because I'm on his favorite football team. You know, you don't think that Demo lines up and is playing in the Super Bowl, he's not thinking about his brother? You know, you don't think when he lined up last year in the NFC Championship game, he wasn't thinking about, I'm doing this for you, brother. You know, I know you're watching me shine down on heaven. So when it's down, you're tired, you're dog tired, it's the fourth quarter, and you got to go line up against Tyreek Hill, or you got to go line up against Jefferson, or whatever, whoever the player, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. You don't think that matters? You know that, hey, I ain't gonna let my brother down. Yeah, that matters. I'm super fired up about Demo. So as y'all clearly see, we left somebody out. Jason, if you would.
So the question is, as the New Day would say, why are we not going over? Who? For those that don't know, this is the WWE New Day. That is one of their sayings. They go, who is that 11th person? Well, we have a few candidates for who this last person can be. And we have two potential linebackers who are going to probably be on, first downs, running, stuff like that. We got Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles and Marcelino McCray-Ball. Why do I struggle saying his first name so much?
It's just
I don't know why.
Like, oh, by the way, I wanted to say this. I saw a clip. Peter T is actually one of the best edge rushers in the XFL. So maybe wait, John. But I always remember that because that was probably one of the first names I struggled with. That you were able to say that I was like, yeah, Jason, just take this one, bro. Just take this. I let all the island names. I let you take, brother.
You get all the Polynesian ones.
Yeah, you get all the Polynesian ones, cuz. But
it's not even
I
fun,
love
though.
Marcel. I love McCray-Ball. I'm just gonna say McCray-Ball. MB. I'm gonna call him MB. I love him. When I saw him in the preseason last year, I was like, man, what is with this team and be able to find linebackers? If you know the coach I would want to interview the most, truthfully, honestly, like obviously Chris Kocurek, Kyle Shanahan, cool. But you know what? Like a coach that I think would actually be attainable and I've actually talked to. I didn't interview him, but I asked him a couple questions just seeing him at training camp. Jolly Holland. Because one of the most underrated coaches in this coaching staff is Jolly Holland. Because look what he's done with these freaking linebackers. God.
Low-end draft picks that just end up being, Pro Bowl players and all this kind of stuff. He's, like you've said a million times, we've talked about it. Probably one of the most underrated coaches, probably in the entire NFL with the amount of work that he's gotten out of some of these linebackers.
I mean, it's just, look, we talk about the Chris Kocurek special. Come play for the Niners. We're going to bring your value up, and you're going to go out and get paid. I mean, are we going to have that with Jolly Holland? Aziz got paid.
Yeah.
Drake Greenlaw got paid. Now he got paid by us. Fred Warner got paid. So is this just going to be the new trend? Come to the Niners, be a linebacker, and we'll,
come play deep for the Niners.
You don't think that gives us a best chance to pick our pick of the litter of linebackers and D linemen from undrafted free agents? Why do you think we get so many good players that come from undrafted free agents? Because of our coaching staff. Because the best undrafted free agents want to come to the Niners because they know if you're a running back, you're going to produce in Kyle Shanahan's system. If you're a D lineman, Chris Kocurek's going to turn you into a solid player, if not a superstar. Johnny Holland is going to do his thing. So definitely glad that his cancer went into regression and he's able to coach full-time again because I definitely think that he would be missed from the coaching staff. Jason, we'll start with the third linebacker role. Who's your favorite in the clubhouse?
I'm still a Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles kind of guy, but I also realized that 2MB is what I'm going to call.
2 MB.
Definitely came on strong towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I think, again, another spot where we're going to see quite the camp battle to see who takes over that third linebacker spot between these two. But like I said, I'm still on the Demetrius Flangas-Fowl ball. I know a lot of people kind of jumped off of it towards the end of the season, but there's something about him that I'm still stuck on.
Well,
that I think
also
he
his
can
special team value.
Yeah,
he's a Pro Bowl special teams player. So let's be real. If you're the base down third linebacker, if you're the one coming off the field on nickel downs, you've got to be a significant contributor to special teams.
Yeah.
So that's what this is going to come back.
We're going to be a nickel minimum 65 to 70% of the time probably.
Yeah, so you're going to be a significant. Your main job on the Niners is going to be a special teams player. If you're the third linebacker on this team, because I ain't taking Bam Bam off the field.
Yeah.
Now maybe not, because we did speak about Dre's injury history. So you might be more of a contributor on the defense than you would assume. But all things created equal, you're not taking Dre Greenlaw or Fred Warner, because Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner are clearly the best two linebackers on this football team now.
And even if he's more injury prone, you paid Greenlaw all that money. He's got to go out there and earn it. Unless he's terrible, unless he's just missing tackles left and right kind of thing. He's just
which he doesn't do often.
No,
Dre, that's the one thing about Dre. He's a solid tackler.
Yeah,
he's a solid. His there's no question about his production. The question with Dre Greenlaw is, which it's football, I understand, is what? Health. So that's fine. And like John Lynch says all the time, hey, early in my career, I had a problem staying on the field, and then I didn't miss a snap for 9 years. So things like that happen. Going into the nickel back, Ambry Thomas, who?
Let's go back to the other one. Who? Yeah. Especially, what have you done for me lately?
What have you done since, besides pretty much one play your rookie year, that I understand one of the biggest plays of the regular season against the Yam, sealing us a playoff victory, but besides that play, what has Thomas really done? Besides that one, which was a big play. Thank you, Ambry. Love you. Thank you for making that play. But since then, I mean, because he was somebody I was high on last year.
Yeah, we all expected that next step up with him. We figured it was going to be him and Ward the whole year as the starting cornerbacks. Mm-hmm. And then even early in training camp, it was clear that he was not even up to par on anything. It was just completely clear to everybody.
I heard sniffs and whispers even during OTAs.
Mm.
I heard whispers in OTAs. So leader in the clubhouse to you, Jason?
Ambry Thomas?
Really? To go into nickel?
No, well, are you talking about who do I think is going to be the nickel?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's going to be Isaiah Oliver. I think that's pretty much what he was brought over to be.
Which really is sad, because I like Sammy Womack.
I do, but I just think right now we've got that experience already in Oliver that trumps what Samuel kind of brings to the table for right now.
I think he might. What was Oliver's contract? It was in 1 year, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So I think it might be I would have to look at the contract to see how much guarantees is and everything. Like, because let's be real, I don't think Isaiah Oliver's spot on the 53 is in pen. So Sammy Womack could easily come beat him out. And they probably would, if it's a tie, you always give it to the younger, cheaper player.
Yeah.
But I think Sammy Womack might be a year away. I look for Sammy Womack next year. Now, of course, things can change throughout the offseason and everything, but this is definitely. And of course, we also leave the ability to have a 2023 draftee. Obviously, this is before the draft. So we select a corner in the third round. That might change.
I'd put that up there just because who knows how the draft is going to work out. Some top tier corner could drop down for whatever reason, and we're like, hey, we'll take a flyer on him, kind of thing. just because.
Exactly. Like Drake Jackson. The Niners didn't expect Drake Jackson to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing I wanted to add on here that I did put on here was like other safeties. We've only got Gibson short time. So we did sign Miles Hartfield from the Panthers. Again, another one of those. Him. Yeah, so he's only 25. So what if, Gibson starts and only plays one more year, and then next year maybe Miles Hartfield slides into that starting position. So that's another one of those positions where I think Steve Wilks has put his footprint on this team.
Yes.
And so a couple of those players.
Signing.
Yeah.
It was a Steve Wilks signing. Hartfield was definitely a Steve Wilks signing, which
so
I'm
okay.
Got
to put that on here.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, especially since you're bringing somebody that knows your scheme.
Mm-hmm.
That might be that might come pay dividends. Let's just say that. I'm not going to speak on, anything in particular, but I'll have I have a feeling we're going to hear from Mayfield this year. I definitely do. I think that about covers it. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
No major news. Yeah.
Oh, did you hear what did you think about Shanahan's comments about Jimmy?
I mean, what is he supposed to say?
I thought the answer was funny. He was like, I have to actually talk to Jimmy.
Yeah.
With the whole issue, because Jimmy would go silent for months. I thought that was quite the nice low blow without even saying anything. I thought it was. I laughed hilariously.
I think it's pretty clear. If you told me that John Lynch has a better relationship with Jimmy Garoppolo, I believe it.
Yeah.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. So do I believe it's to the point where they hate each other and it was toxic and everything like that? No.
Nah.
But were Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo on the same page and best buds? No. I think we saw that in Denver last year.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, look about how he talked about it. Why do I think Jimmy Garoppolo was on the roster last year? Because they were nervous about Trey, both performance-wise and health-wise. And let's be real, we all said it, and it was a fact. Jimmy Garoppolo was the best backup available at that point in time. Why would you find him? Why would Jimmy Garoppolo was instantly the best backup in the league once it came clear that the Niners could get him? Do I believe that if Trey came out and lit training camp on fire last year, do I think they signed Jimmy? No. But I think the fact that he didn't had something to do with it. I'm not going to say it's 100% the reason why, but it had something to do with it.
There was something going on with that one.
Yeah. But I think it's clear that it ran its course. And, God bless you, Jimmy. But, yeah, I mean, it was like that. It was there was an article, I think it was Athletic, that pretty much said Jimmy showed up for the press conference. I signed the contract. They do the press conference. Hey, I'm the franchise quarterback. And then the Niners didn't hear from him for weeks.
Yeah, I think they said about 3 weeks. They didn't hear a word from him, even though everybody was texting.
Word, no text back, no nothing. Which, what? Honestly, I don't necessarily blame Jimmy. I love every single one of my coworkers. All my coworkers are cool. But I spend enough time with y'all, especially as much time as football players spend around each other.
Yeah.
And let's be real, Jimmy's a fairly private dude. Because honestly, once porn star Jimmy, have you ever really heard anything about his personal life after that? Which I think that's because the Niners came to him and the Niners said, hey, Jimmy, we don't give a damn what you do. But, you're a franchise quarterback now. You're a franchise quarterback for one of the biggest franchises in all sports, really. A global brand. You can't be seen with a porn star. And so, final thoughts, Jason?
That's about it. I really don't have any for this one.
I think we about all covered it. So stay tuned next week. We will do offensive breakdown. So pretty much the same thing we did. And then the week after or the week before the draft, we're working on a pretty major special guest that says they want to come on the show. We just got to dot our I's and cross our T's. But Jason knows who I'm talking about, but we got a pretty.
I do.
I'll put it to you this way: people who watch the show, you'll definitely know who this dude is. He writes for a major blogging site. But anyway, all right, Jason. So we'll catch you next week, brother.
Yep. Deuces.
All right, thanks, Jason, for coming in as always.
Oops, wrong button.
Out of here. Did Jason just come on, or is I tripping? Yeah, okay, Jason came on. Before we get out of here, of course, we got to remind everybody to, of course, help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link. Link will be in the description of the podcast or video. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all the theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. To see everywhere to subscribe to the show, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. And of course, your special 10% off coupon code for the Faithful by the Faithful apparel is The New Hope. We shall see everybody next week. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
Rice has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana. Touchdown, John Taylor.
See ya.